Hello, hello, and welcome to day 4 of our Energize and Align challenge. Today's topic is going to be energy management. So, as you sign on, I'm just curious if any of you have ever heard of energy management before. It was something that I thought I kind of created, and then as I was reading Kate Northrup's book, Do Less, which, by the way, if you haven't read that book, I invite you to do so. She talks a lot about time bending and energy management, and she's going to be a guest on my podcast. She's had to reschedule, but we're going to be scheduling a live call with Kate Northrup in December, so I'm super excited about that. So thank you for being with me again. Hi, Trini. Hi, Jill. Jill, do you like my shirt? I'm gonna tell a little backstory about the shirt. So Jill Taylor, who is joining us, is the new owner of Madison Sage Apparel. And what I love about this, before we get started, I just want to share is that I don't know if you can tell in the way this is set up, but the words are backwards. And so one of the things that I encourage my clients to do, if it's right for them, is mirror work. So how many of you have done mirror work? Anybody? Jill, have you? I'm sure you have, because you came up with this idea. So mirror work is super, super powerful. And so anyway, this is Jill's company, and she has all these words: align, worthy, which I'm thinking the worthy one is going to be a really good one for me to get to, valuable. And yeah, so I love, because when you look in the mirror, then it says it the right way, which is just such a cool idea that nobody's doing. And so I'm just really grateful, and I love what you're doing, Jill. So Trini says she's never heard of energy management. Okay, awesome. So I used to call it time management, and then I called it choice management. And then I realized that everything comes down to the energy that we put in and the energy that we get out of stuff. And so energy management is really, we're going to talk about kind of what kind of makes it more effective than time management today. So let me just wait a few more seconds, and we're going to get live on Instagram here as well. So you guys have been sharing your breakthroughs with me, which I really, really appreciate. One-on-one, I encourage you to keep doing that and just sharing me the breakthroughs that you're having this week. Trini, I know you just wrote me. I didn't get a chance to read it yet before I hopped on. And Jill, you shared with me as well. So I really want to take a moment to just celebrate you guys for your commitment to being here, to participating, and just allowing yourself to receive the information that I'm sharing this week. It's really awesome. And I'm going to give you a moment to just celebrate yourself in that. So we are going to go live here on Instagram. Awesome. So welcome to day 4 of Energize and Align. Hi, Jill, Trini, and Megan. So happy to have you here again today. And today we are talking all about energy management. So you may have seen me post, or you may have heard in my podcast, The Embodied Healing Self, that energy management is the new time management. So I used to call it choice management. And then when I started thinking about how everything that we do is really all about the energy that we give and receive, then I started using the word energy management. So for some of you, this might be sort of a new concept. Trini says she's never heard of energy management before. And as I came on, I shared that it was something that I thought I invented. And then I started reading Kate Northrup's book, Do Less, and she does refer to it a little bit in her book. So it just shows that I am totally in alignment with the messaging that she shares in her book. And I'm super excited. We're scheduled to record December 3rd for her to be a guest on my podcast in the area of really just living in alignment and energy management. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So thank you for being here again. And before we get started, if you're not driving, I'm going to invite you to just kind of come into your own present moment. So if you're not driving, whatever you're doing, I just invite you to, for the next minute, just put down your books, your pencils, your fork, or whatever, and just come into a space of sort of your own presencing. Hi, Jen. Good to see you again. So just come into kind of your own space. If it feels good, close your eyes and just start to notice the breath in your body. So breath is life force energy. So I invite you to maybe just notice the inhale and see if you can start inhaling from the bottom of your belly. So allow your belly to expand and rise as you inhale. Pause for a moment at the top of the breath and then exhale slowly to release. So just thinking about what we talked about yesterday, that balance of giving and receiving. Your breath is the same thing. Inhaling is receiving, and exhaling is letting go. And I just invite you to kind of check in with yourself in this moment. When you hear me say the words, what does your energy feel like in this moment? What comes up for you? And then share, we're going to share in the comments, but I want you to spend a little bit of time is just noticing just the word. Like, is it your physical body? Is it your heart space? Is it your mind, your thoughts? Maybe you've got a bunch of stuff happening up here, your to-do list. How does your energy feel in this moment? Misfit Manifestors, awesome! Hi, Valerie. I love that name, Misfit Manifestors. And so just really checking in with what your energy is like in this moment. And then as you come to your breath and come back to the presencing of the space that you're in your home or wherever, just really noticing your connection to the space that you're being held in. Yes, I'm so happy you get to be here live, Jill. So this says, hey, Shannon, this is just an invitation for all of my ladies who are joining. If you're not driving, to check in, allow your heartbeat to slow down, allow your breath to slow down. The world outside of you is still happening, but right now we're going to be present with each other. And just ask yourself the question, how does my energy feel? If I could feel energy, what would it feel like? And then when you're ready, I'd love to see, Shannon says good morning. She's on the West Coast. It's lunchtime here. I'd love to know in the comments how your energy feels today. Today is day 4. On Monday, we talked about our sacred energy flow. We tapped into what is most important for us to live in alignment in our own lives, what our values are. On Tuesday, we talked about clearing energy blocks. And we identified maybe where some of these blocks come from. Maybe some self-limiting beliefs that are repeating patterns in our lives. And I'm hearing a lot of fears and doubts around our worthiness, and perfectionism is showing up a lot. Our trusting that we're lovable, that we're worthy, that we're good enough, that we're safe, just as we are in this world. So I want to acknowledge all of you. You guys have been so amazing this week. Many of you have sent me personal messages with your breakthroughs that have been really awesome, and I really appreciate that you're sending those to me, because when we share our breakthroughs outwardly, it's like we're acknowledging and celebrating, and it's a really important step. So thank you for your continued commitment to do that, to be here. And then yesterday we talked about intuitive energy balance, the balance of giving and receiving. Where are we giving too much? Where are we not receiving where we could be receiving? Maybe it's support from a loved one or a group or a friendship or a spouse or food even. Are you actually receiving energetically the nourishment from your food? Because if you are drinking that green juice and that green smoothie and you're like, oh, that is not receiving. It's really not. Got to be open to receiving, like appreciating. And then the balance of being and becoming. Where are you spending too much time doing? Maybe because you don't believe you're worthy or good enough unless you're doing the things. Keeping the house clean, doing the best you can at work, all of the things that we do. And where are you out of balance in just the being? Valuable as who you are. Madison Sage Apparel. Mirror work. Love it. Look in the mirror. This is one of the things that I encourage my clients to do, because here's what it looks like. When you look in the mirror, when you first start to do it, you're going to be like, oh, look at those wrinkles. Look at that. See this gray hair, all of it. And then the more you do it, especially if you look into your left eye, they say the left eye is the window to the soul. The more you start to have compassion for yourself, and then you recognize that the wrinkles and the gray hair are just signs of wisdom in your experiences. This is the physical body we talked about yesterday, that is the imprint that holds all of our life experiences. It's who we are. And only we get to do this. We are the only ones that get to be. I'm the only one that gets to be me. You're the only one that gets to be you. And you get to choose how to write your story. So that's where the balance comes in yesterday, the giving, the receiving, the being and becoming. Sometimes being is just in a place of not taking an action step, not doing nothing, but just receiving and integrating. And then there's a time where we are in the becoming of what is next, because we're all on this evolutionary path, whether it's with the health of our physical body, our relationship, our marriage, or with our children, with our parents, with our work, with ourselves. We are all here on a path to connect with the truth of who we are. And usually that block that we identified on Tuesday that shows up is the one that we're really here to work through. And it's going to keep showing up until you decide you're worthy enough and it's the right time to seek support or find a way to take that step and shift the course. And if you saw my post in the Facebook group, have compassion for yourself enough to alter the course. Instead of staying in that place of judgment and fear and being stuck, when you have the awareness that the limiting belief is still there and you're stuck, it's not an opportunity for judgment. It's an opportunity to lean in and let it teach you, what is this here to show me about me, and what choices do I have right now? And I'm talking about this because it's going to lead us into the energy management, because there is a lot of energy in being stuck. Okay, remember in high school learning about kinetic energy, and then so energy in motion, and then energy that is static. Okay, I'm an engineer. I love science and physics and math. There is so much, and think about when two cars are driving, right? If you're parked and you get rammed 30 miles an hour, that's a big deal because you're not moving. You're stuck. There's so much energy and static energy that is just waiting to move. So you got to make a decision to move one way or the other. Staying stuck in that cycle of self-sabotage, of not deciding on what to do next, is only increasing that static energy of being stuck. And here's the thing, our fears and our blocks, you guys, I am acknowledging those. Those are so valid. Whatever it is right now that is holding you back is so valid. And it's part of your story. It's part of who you are. I'm not asking you to let it go and pretend like it didn't happen. I don't really believe in that. What I am asking you to do is to not be identified by it anymore. To acknowledge it as a part of you, but it's energy and it's not all of you, and it doesn't identify who you are. And so the energy and that fear, that block, there's so much like physical vibration and energy in it, right? Because fear, we talk about on the energetic scale, unconditional love and self-worth. Fear is the lowest. It's like the bowl that holds everything. It's a lot of energy. And this fear, all the energy, we want to take it and shift it. So, like Tai Chi, it's like getting that energy and harnessing it as the catalyst for what you want to move into, because there's so much of our belief system is in the energy of that fear. So as I speak about that, just let me know in the comments, like, how this feels for you. Yes, Megan, I will share the shirts. Jill, actually, I'm going to invite you, Jill, to drop the link in the comments, because these shirts are super awesome. But I want to invite you to just get super clear as we're moving through it this week. You guys, I have carved out time this week to respond to your questions and your personal messages. I won't be available to do this next week. I'm doing it this week. So let's move through this week. What is the fear or the block right now standing in the way of you changing course, or at least having the compassion for where you are, which might be the change in your course right now. Maybe it's changing from judgment to compassion. And it's not actually doing anything, but it's just shifting the perception. If any of you are willing to share, sharing is putting your words into action. I just encourage you to do it. Release the energy through your words and see how it feels. So energy management to me is beyond time management, because here's the world I live in that I'm going to share with you. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. So when somebody tells me they don't have the time to participate in this challenge, for example, and you guys didn't say that because you're here. Now I know some of you are at work, you can't do it live, but you're listening to the replay, so you're still committing to being a part of it. But when someone says, I don't have time to eat healthy, or I don't have time to go to the gym, or I don't have time to create change, or I don't have time to go to the doctor, in the world of health, it's like, if you don't make time for it now, you're not going to have a choice later. And the truth is that we all have the same time in the day. What you really want to say is that it's not a priority for me right now. So then I invite you to go back to your beliefs from Monday and check yourself. What were your values that showed up on Monday? And are your actions in alignment with your values? So if you value your health, but you're not taking the steps to take care of your health, well, then your actions are not in alignment with your values, and you are stuck, and there's a lot of energy in this. Valerie says, good energy management is a game changer, and I know I have work to do in this area, so thank you for this challenge, Valerie. Thank you for receiving, and thank you for being here. Energy management is awesome, and part of it has to do with clarity on what your beliefs are and what your actions are. Remember when we talked about that equation before? Belief plus desire equals action and results. This, I did not create this. This is nothing new. So the beliefs that came up on Tuesday, the desires on Monday, plus the beliefs on Tuesday equal the actions you're willing to take, which is in the energy management, and your results. So we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So what you choose to do is really up to you. So I'm going to invite you to be clear with your words. If you say, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources, be super clear about what your belief is around it. And I know this is coming off as very direct, but I really believe that this is what we need to hear. And I'm going to invite you to not try to find the easy way out and not to try to find the loophole. There is no easy way to have, I'm just going to be really honest with you. There's no easy way to have optimal health. You work for it because you're worth it. It becomes a part of who you are, and then it's no longer work. The way that I have chosen to eat, I chose because I had a health crisis. Don't wait for the health crisis. Don't wait for that. Really, because when you do that, it's a lot more money and time. Tens and tens of thousands of dollars I spent invested in myself and my family, not only for the healing, but then in the learning of what I share with everybody, all the way up to being trained in functional medicine. Don't wait for the health crisis. Don't wait for the divorce. Don't wait for, your children to leave the house and go to college before you have a good relationship with them. Don't wait. Really, I know I'm getting kind of going down that path right now, but I'm inviting you to be clear with your words. What you're really saying is, it's not a priority for me right now, and that's okay. If it's not a priority for you right now, then when will it be a priority for you? And if it's one of your core values that you listed on Monday, well, then it should be a priority for you. So your action should be in alignment with those values. So as I say that, I want to hear from you. What comes up for you? And I'm going to invite you to really share, where are your actions not in alignment with your beliefs? Jen says, using compassion to feel change is a completely new concept for me, but it's resonating. I'm so happy, Jen, because that was really coming through for me when I was thinking of you, is the self-compassion piece, the belief of not being good enough, and that I have to do this and things have to be perfect. And training, you can relate to this too, probably. So, sometimes the shift maybe in where you are right now, Jen, is just the shift in perception of welcoming compassion for where you are. And maybe there is nothing to change right now. Maybe that is the action step that you're taking. So do you see how that is in alignment with the balance of being and becoming? Sometimes some of us might be in the being of just shifting the awareness and being in that for a moment, like, oh, I can have compassion for not being perfect. Huh, I'm gonna see how that feels. I'm just gonna sit in that for a second. That feels really good because it's new, right? So I want to share with you. So before I go into the questions that I go through in myself in my life when I choose to manage my energy, I've really gotten away from a couple things. Number one, if I say I'm too busy, it means I'm misaligned. It just means that I am not choosing to use my energy wisely in alignment. So I don't even say the words I'm too busy anymore. The words don't feel healthy to me. They don't resonate with the life that I want to live. So I want to know if any of you resonate with that, or if you find yourself saying the words, oh, I'm exhausted, I'm too busy. Because if you do, I want to offer that what it just means is that you're misaligned. And when I say misaligned, what I'm saying is that your actions are not in alignment with what's important to you. Okay, so maybe this would be a time to ask you to share what some of your values are and the actions that you are taking on your values. I'm gonna give you guys the opportunity to celebrate what you are doing in this moment. And also remind you to be clear with your words. Do you really not have the time to take care of yourself? Or are you just not choosing it because it's not a priority? What is the truth? Because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We get to choose what to do with it. And I'm going to share with you, because I'm feeling like a lot of you can totally relate to this. I am a 100% recovering perfectionist and overachiever. I recorded a podcast on it. The overachiever syndrome. A perfectionist comes from likely the belief that I'm not good enough, or I'm only good when I perform in this way. And so I know if you're in that energy, I feel you. I know it. It's what led to my both health crises, by the way. Both. Even when I was a health coach, led to my second health crisis. So, and I say that because, again, it comes down to where is the block and what is the belief that is running our life. What is the belief pattern that keeps running our life? Hi, Colleen. It's awesome to see you. So here's the questions that I ask myself before I decide, is this in alignment with my energy? Because the only thing that each of you, Michelle, Megan, Jill, Trini, Shannon, Colleen, Valerie, all of you that are on here right now, the only thing you have to do is be in alignment with your truth and who you are. So I want to share a personal experience really quick about where right now, us together in this experience. I'm part of a business mastermind group, and I was sharing that this is something that I'm doing this week. Now, some of you have been following me for 10 years, and you know that I have done many, many, many hundreds and hundreds of group health programs, cleanses, detoxes, and 28-day healthy whole you. This is the first time I've done a group challenge that's a little bit different. And what I realized is, as my own belief on people aren't going to get it, people won't, it's not going to resonate for them. And clearly it is, because you guys are sending me such amazing breakthroughs and personal messages and sharing in the Facebook group. What I realized is the only thing I had to do, because I'm valuable, is to show up as I am. It's not about exactly necessarily what I'm sharing with you, but how I'm sharing it and why I'm sharing it, because that's the part that we all resonate with, right? So all I have to do is sit here and be me and share from the heart what I've learned. And for those of you that it resonates with, amazing. And if it doesn't all completely resonate with you, that's okay too. So what I share that to say that that's all you have to do, and whatever it is that you're wanting to change right now. So here are the questions that I ask myself. I'm getting lots of hearts and emojis right now, so I love that you guys are resonating with that. Michelle says she can relate to that 100%. Michelle, I'd love to know in what way, what do you relate with, and in what way does that show up? Jill says, my energy shift is to stand in my fear. So I love that. That's what I said. Harness the energy of your fear. Don't release it, harness it, and not to run back to be taken care of. I have to believe I'm worthy of receiving my own abundance. So Jill, I'm going to invite you, because I think there's a lot of power in words, to say, I choose to believe I'm worthy of receiving my own abundance. Because there is nothing that you have to do, sweetheart. We don't have to do, I don't have to do this. You don't have to be here. We don't have to do anything, but we get to. So Jill, I'm going to just kind of lovingly encourage you to just reword that with I choose to. Make everything a choice. Okay, here's the questions. Before I decide to do something, is this in alignment with me? Me meaning my values, what's important to me. Oh, you love this conversation. It's so important. Thanks, Colleen. I'm glad you're here. So is this in alignment with me and everything that matters to me? Okay. So in other words, now my personal choice, no judgment or expectation on anybody else. This is me and where I stand. Health is important to me. So that means I'm going to choose to do things to reduce my stress, because naturally I'm not like a go with the flow type of person. I'm a go-getter. And so this is something that I choose to, Jill, right? Work on. Food, I choose not to drink alcohol. It doesn't work for me. I choose not to eat gluten. Those things don't make me feel good. I know that movement and healthy food are important for my well-being. And so is love and connection. And so is joy. So those things right now are super important to my health and well-being. So when I ask myself if I'm going to participate in something isn't in alignment with me, you're probably not going to find me out at the bar drinking. And there's no judgment for those that do, but for me, it doesn't feel good. Plus I had liver failure, so 13 years ago, right? So that's just my personal choice. So isn't in alignment with me and my values. I talked about this in the podcast, Navigating Your Core Wounds of Rejection and Essential Goodness, on how I made a decision to show up in a group where I was asked to speak, and it wasn't actually totally in alignment with me. And I'm just going to invite you to listen to it. It was a very painful experience, but I was so grateful because it was there to teach me, again, to stay in alignment with who I am, to show up in the places that are in alignment with me, that just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. So I'm going to say that again. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you can go speak at that event, just because you can, I don't know, do that thing that's going to bring in a bunch of money because you're really good at it, but it doesn't make you happy, doesn't mean you should. Just because you can, in this moment run a marathon, but your body's really asking you to, maybe that's not what your body wants right now. Maybe it wants more yoga. It doesn't mean you should. So I'm inviting you, I'm giving you permission not to do the things that you think you should do. Let's just take that word out of vocabulary, because should implies guilt and shame that we're not good enough. So if you're a person here who struggles with the belief that you're not good enough, let's just start by removing the word should and have to. You don't have to do anything, and you're already enough and where you need to be. So let me know if you're willing to do that and you want an accountability partner on that. So is it in alignment with me? Is it the right time? Does this have to be done right now?